So in this video, I want to talk about the series known as 100 Girlfriends Who Really, 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 Really Love You. Now, hopefully I said the really at the right amount of times, but this was a series that was recommended to me before even the anime started airing, and a lot of that came down to when I spoke about the series known as Girlfriend Girlfriend. And the reason why I bring that up is I don't like comparing animes too heavily, but when I originally spoke about that anime, a lot of people recommended 100 Girlfriends because they do have some similarities in some small areas, but they both go about how they do things in very different ways. And I'm going to talk about why 100 Girlfriends does it so well. But when I originally watched Girlfriend Girlfriend, I had a lot of people recommend the manga to me, saying, oh, you should read the manga, and I wasn't going to get into the manga because I just didn't have the time, but I was adamant that I will try out the anime. And so getting into the anime itself has honestly exceeded my expectations, but I kind of expected it to be really good based on all the hype that was given to me. So I was expecting something good, but I've always kind of learnt to lower my expectations when people hype things up, because a lot of the time some people have a tendency to get overexcited. I don't like saying overhyped. I don't like that word particularly, but I understand that some people get very excited about their favorite series. So I lowered my expectations because I don't want to go into something expecting something and then not get it. But honestly, I was really happy about the series. And a lot of that comes down to the fact that honestly, the main protagonist is done so well, and including the girls as well. Because one of the issues that I have with harem type animes like this is two factors: the girl and the main characters, or the girls and the main character. And I'll get into both of those in a second, but one of them is the girls. When you add heaps of girls into a harem series, one of the issues that you run into is just one layer tropes. And so, for example, would be something like Infinite Stratus, where all the girls are really cool in their backstories and some of their little quirks that they have, but a lot of the times the hyper focus is on the trope itself, and only that trope. It's like a one-dimensional kind of character that's just hyper focused on the trope. Example would be a tsundere. Like, their entire personality is just built around being a tsundere. And yes, you could argue that with 100 Girlfriends, but I feel like there are more layers to the characters than just the trope itself. Like, every character has a trope. It's just who we are as people. But one of the things that the main protagonist did a really good job at was pointing out some of the little quirks in these girls, the multiple layers. For example, how one of the girls will fidget with their feet. How my favorite right now, currently Melons, as I call her, doesn't bite with her actual teeth, but bites with her lips on her finger, which comes off really erotic, and it's just, yeah, quite stimulating for the downstairs reach. I'm just playing, really, but it's really good the way the main character points those out. And then, of course, with the tsundere girl, how she fidgets with her hair. It's not just they're violent and that's it, like a tsundere character, or if it's just only fan service. Yes, there is fan service in this series, but it also complements all the other jokes. And one of the downsides about some harem series is that they only focus on like the violent character, only always ever being violent, and that's it. Or only focusing on the fan service and not kind of mixing and matching it, and not it feels like a one-trick pony. But 100 Girlfriends does a really good job at balancing that out. And I think, one, it helps because there's a lot of girls already in the series. They don't hold back. They drop a fair few girls right away, like right off the bat. You get 2 girls off the bat, and then they kind of add one after another. But it doesn't feel too overwhelming as well. Though this is meant to be a series called 100 Girlfriends, so he's got a long way to go. And I am curious because one of the negatives that could become a problem, it isn't currently a problem, but could become a problem, is overwhelming cast of characters and making them feel like cheerleaders and stuff like that. But each girl feels very unique as well. They have their own unique personalities, their own unique traits, their own unique quirks, and I am curious as the series goes on how that will maintain. Will there be some similarities between characters but different kind of quirks to them? Very curious to see how that plays out. But again, as I mentioned, the main protagonist complements that by pointing out all their different traits, and that is where it goes into. The main protagonist is lovable, he's enjoyable, he's not just one-dimensional, no real personality, not like a cardboard cutout default character. He has his own layers to it as well, and how he sees the girls, how he compliments the girls, how he's emotionally impacted by those girls being all cutesy. One of the things that I do hate about some harems, and again, I've watched a lot of harems ranging from new ones to old ones, so I'm talking a big scope here, is when you have main characters that have a girl make an advancement on them and there's just no emotions out of them. It's like they're completely oblivious at what's in front of them. It'd be like, say, for example, in 100 Girlfriends, if Melons, as I call her, would just literally strip off, shove them in his face, and he just has a blank default face. And that is a big problem with harems. But in this series, it actually shows him have a response, but it also the compliments and the flirtatious stuff, not just the fan service, but also the other components that come with it. The girls being very, very cutesy and adorable. It all kind of shows in those emotions. Then you've also got the fear in him when he sees that particular staff member of the school, and how that's another thing. There's a villain basically in the story as well, and that's really cool because some animes don't necessarily have villains except for like a say like Infinite Stratus, where there's like a villain at the end of the season where they've got to defeat and come together. But this is a bit more different because it's not like some power fantasy or mecha series or anything like that where there is like this main protagonist versus a evil villain where they've got to fight. This is very different kind of villain. It's a school villain as like a staff member, like they're not going to battle to the death, but more like trying to avoid that world boss into like an MMO. They're just trying to tippy-toe around it and get around it, but if they get caught, they're going to start bolting for it. So I really like how they've approached that kind of creating a villain character in the story. It's not completely unique and different, but it's nice to see old cool concepts reused in a sort of a different spin. So that's why I really like how harems are done like this. There's a lot of harems out in this sort of the space of the internet, and harems do get a lot of hate now. Harems weren't as beloved when they first came out, then they became a big trend when you had things like Date A Live and High School DxD in their sort of infancy. Now you've got multiple seasons, and you've got like Date A Live season 5 coming out at some point in the future. And so harems have kind of diminished a little bit, and they're very popular to hate now too, especially if you go online. You get a lot of content creators, a lot of parts of the anime community constantly dunking on harems because it's just popular to hate them. So it's really cool to see this series try and just break the norms, really show what it can do and be fun about it and not take itself too serious. And the fact that it also has that whole concept of like him having to date them to save their lives, and there's this kind of god entity, it adds a bit of a fun layer of making it believable why he has 100 girlfriends. Because another series that does this kind of concept, which is Girlfriend, it makes it difficult for me to love the main protagonist because he just feels very one-dimensional. And again, if you like him, that's fine. I'm not saying you can't like the series. It's just my personal taste when looking at these two, because they are being compared quite a lot by anime fans, and I am watching Girlfriend. I kind of really like the 100 Girlfriends main character far more, but there are some really enjoyable things with the other series as well. It's just this one just... all the girls just feel really amazing. They feel really unique. They have so many layers to the main protagonist is lovable. As I've gone through the series, I'm enjoying it more and more and more. And especially with all these girls, it adds all these extra flavors. The thing that I thought would happen is I would end up disliking it more as too many girls got added, but actually it's the opposite effect where more girls are getting added. It actually has kind of been really fun because even the girls are having their own cute interactions and helping each other and their classmates. It's what I really love about the series, and I'd love to know your thoughts in the comment section down below. What do you like about 100 Girlfriends who really, 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 really love you? Because I'm enjoying it, looking forward to watching more episodes, and I expect that there will be much more of this series to come out. If you can take the hint, I definitely expect this to get a multiple seasons. How far? We'll just have to wait and see. But again, I'd love to know your thoughts down in the comment section down below, and also, who is your favorite character? Manga readers, you can just drop a name. Anime fans, what do you think? What are your favorite characters? And definitely tell me why in the comment section down below. So if you like this video, hit the like, subscribe, and I'll see you beautiful nerds in the next video.